Hello and welcome to your BI Star. Today we will cover SQL 101 for aspiring DAs, data analyst, or anybody really who works with SQL and who needs to extract data from SQL. We will cover basic SQL writing query, their principle, and we'll try to touch base some of the intermediate level of query writing problems as well. So in today's video, I will start with showing you how to select everything from a table, how table looks like in the SQL Server. We are using Northwind database for today's tutorial. And once I show you the structure of the database and table, I will move forward with how to filter um, some of the information based on your requirements in the query, and I'll move forward with how to do some aggregation and use the group by function, and finally I will try to show you guys how to use two different tables by joining to get information from those two different tables. So let me write a query first, and I will explain that query later. Now I have written all the queries here. The first problem we had was we wanted to return all the records from a table orders. So for that, what we did is we said select asterisk from this order table. So what we're doing here essentially is we have this order table right here. So this is our database, Northwind. And if I expand it, we have the tables under the database. This is our orders table, and you can expand it here as well, and you can see the all the column names right here. So it just starts with order ID and all the way to zip country, right? So if you do select order asterisk, you are essentially selecting everything from this table. So if I run this guy and go to this, we have order ID through zip country, and we are returning all the records, 830 records from this table. So if you need to look at the table, you need to return everything from the table, you can use select asterisk from the orders. Doing asterisk is not recommended. Just type the column name that you need whenever you work in the production environment. That will make your query more efficient. And the second problem we had is like, okay, we want all the orders, but only the city we shipped should be Bonn, right? So in here we have this city. So out of these 830 records, we are interested in only orders that were shipped to Bonn. So for that in SQL, you can use where clause. You can say where ship city equal to Bonn right here. But if you want to, or if you need to, you can do anything, right? You can say ship country should be Germany or Austria, or you can say postal code. You get the idea. You can write the column name and say equal to this. So only caveat is for the integer, you don't put a quotation, and for the character, you wrap these with the quotation. So when I run this, there are only 8 records right here. So everything should be from the bond, right? So the third issue we had, or the third problem we're discussing is, I want all the orders which were ordered in 1998. So I have this order date in the order table, and the year of each of those 830 orders should be 1998. So in SQL, we can use year function to get the year. Same thing for the month, same thing for the day. You can do a lot of manipulation. Just look at the different date function in SQL Server. You'll understand that. So just run it, and you'll get everything for that year, 1998. There are 270 sales or ordered item records in 1998. So if you look at the order date, everything is 1998 here, right? Similarly, another problem we had was, okay, now I want to display the orders, total numbers order by year. I want to see the trend of my company, right? So another function that we must understand in SQL is group by. So all this statement starts from select. We're talking about the return statement, not the other definition statement. We start with select, and we'll have from, and in between you will have all the column name and whatever you want to select. And once you have from, then it goes where, and after where you'll have group by if needed. So when we use group by is if we have any kind of aggregate function, right? If we have aggregate function in the query. So aggregate function means sum, average, mean, max, etc., right? So here we have this count. This is also aggregate function. So what we're trying to do is by year we want to count the rows, or the order ID is the same thing, because this is one-to-one table. Counting one, this order ID is unique to every row, so I'm just counting one. I could have said, order count order ID or count distinct order ID. It's the same thing. So I'm saying give me the year name out of the date. Do the date manipulation and give me only the year out of this order date, and count every row in these 830 records, right? And now I only want to return 1 year at once, right? Year 1998 should come at once, 1997 at once, right? So for that, because we have the group by function, we need to have the aggregate function, we need to have the group by added. So in the group by, you always add the non-aggregate selection that you have in your select statement. Right here, this is the only non-aggregate selection we have. So you'll just copy and paste year, order date, and you leave alone the aggregate function. So now if I run it, it gives us the information, right? 1998 we had 270 total order, 1996 152, 1997 408. And I also want to show you one more function that we use in SQL is order by. So what if I want to display 1997 first, or 1996 first, 1997 second, and 1998? In that way I can have the ascending order. So I will say order by. You can do two-way, either, like there are different ways of doing order by. So this is one, right? You can do this. You see 1996, 1997, 1998, or even you can say year, it doesn't even matter. In order by, you can use the alias 1996, 1997, 1998, or you can even say this is the number one column, right? You can say order by one. Same thing, 1996, 1997, and 1998. Okay, what if I want other way around? I want 1998 at first. So I would do descending. If I do descending, 1998 will come at the first, right? So if you don't put anything, it's like ascending. Here on this, that's 1996, 7, and 8. It's the same as this. Okay, and now if you want to sort by the total order, you can do 2 and descending. Right here you have 1997 408, 98 270, 96 152. So this is how you do it. Let's look at another. Let's look at the next problem here. So what we want is we want to generate list for total, average, maximum, and minimum sale made for each month and year in 1997 and 1998. So we want to break it down by month in those 2 years, and we want the total sales, average sales, maximum sales, and minimum sales. These are all aggregate function. As we discussed earlier, year, month, we need to do the date manipulation here to get the year, month, because we have the order date. That's the date, right? So here we can use format function. There are multiple other ways you can look into the Google how to manipulate dates in SQL. That will be very helpful. You'll find a lot of documentation in Microsoft. So here I'm using format order date, and I want to format this in YYYY-MM format, and I'm calling it year, month. Now I have the categorical column here, which gives me year and month. I added the sum, average, max, and minimum function. Those are all aggregate function, and I'm doing something like this: unit price and quantity. I'm multiplying unit price by quantity. But one thing to remember is this unit price and quantity, they don't come from order table, they come from order details table. So if you look at the order details table right in here, you have unit price, quantity, and discount with the order ID. So we have order ID here, order ID here. So we can join order table with order details. So this is one-to-many join, because in order detail there can be multiple rows for one order ID. So what I'm doing is I'm saying inner join. Order detail must be there for the orders. I'm saying inner join order details. I'm just giving alias OD on order ID equals to order ID. Now I'm getting unit price and quantity from the order details. If you look at the alias, I'm saying OD unit price multiply OD quantity. Same thing for other aggregation. And I'm just giving alias total sales, average, maximum sales, and minimum sales. In that way, we can get the order date from the order table, because that will be same order date from the order table, and all the sales information, sales amount from the order details table, and we're aggregating it, and we're saying group by non-aggregate column here. And because it says we need sales for only 1997 and 1998, I'm adding a where clause here. So if I run this guy, you'll see it starts with 1997.01 and it gives you total sales, average sales, max sales, and minimum sale for that month, and so on and so forth. It goes all the way to 1998.05. It is not showing 1998.06 to 12 because we didn't have the data there. Okay, now let's move on to the final problem that we are solving. So for this guy, the problem we have is we want to find out employee or employees who made more than one sales, right? And we want to display their name, their ID, and number of sales or orders, right? We're saying number of order, but it's number of sales. So same thing here, we need to join an employee on the employee ID. If you look at the order table, we have employee ID column. That's your foreign key. It's many side, and we have our employees table. That's one side because one employee will have one record. We have I'm looking at the keys. We have employee ID, and we want the first name and the last name, and we have all the description of the employee here. And we're joining an employee ID to employee ID between orders and employee table. And what we're saying is we're concatenating employee's first name and last name to get the full name. And we're just using an aggregate function count1 to get number of orders. And here, very important part is we need to display only the employees who has sales more than one. So we're using this having function. So whenever you have this scenario, right, you need to filter on the aggregate function. You need to use having with the group by. So I'm using group by with all non-aggregate function here, and I'm saying having count1, it has to be greater than 1. So I'm running this, and for the employee ID 1 and see had 123 and all. So this is the, let me add one thing here, and it will be the complete SQL syntax, I would say, where I will say, let's say here we'll just use the same filter we used for we do this right. Let's run this. Okay, these numbers are dropping, and so this is the complete syntax for any select statement in SQL. We have select, from, joins, whatever join you have, where for your filter, group by if you have any aggregation, having if you have aggregated filters in it. So this is all for today. If you have any concerns or questions, put that in the comment. I'll try to answer, and I'll come back with a little more advanced query writing, maybe intermediate query writing in the next video. This one covers the essence of SQL query writing. Thank you so much for watching.